right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to today's presentation. I really appreciate you guys spending your lunch hour with me. I know a lot of you are probably very, very busy. So just a couple housekeeping notes. We do have the phone lines muted as today's presentation is being recorded and will be sent out after the presentation. So let's go ahead and dive right in here. My name is Megan Francis. I am the marketing coordinator over here at Updox. And today we're going to tackle the subject of physician burnout and how slight changes in your daily administrative workflow can counteract the stressors that cause it. Just a quick disclaimer here. Updox in no way believes that implementing technology solutions in your practice can or will cure the severity of physician burnout. Our claim is simply that implementing the right solutions might act as a preventative measure for independent physicians. And I'm sure Greenway feels the exact same way. So just a quick overview of what we'll be covering over today's webinar. First off, we're going to define burnout, who burnout affects, the top causes of burnout, some simple ways you can alleviate it, who Updox is, and how we can help. Alrighty, so now what is burnout? Dr. Raj S. Pruthi defines burnout as this. Burnout in medicine is a national, complex, and systematic issue whose effects go far beyond physicians themselves, impacting our patients and even having far-reaching societal implications. Sadly, across the world, I believe that physician burnout is becoming the norm within our career path. Burnout's becoming more and more common among physicians and residents all over the world. The expectations of the independent physician specifically are not subsiding, so the consequences for your overall mental and physical health and even your family health are costly. So who exactly does burnout affect? Recent studies within the past 5 years have shown a rapid trend of growth in physicians claiming to have experienced or know somebody who has experienced burnout. In 2013, it was at 40% of a sample group felt burnout. In 2014, it bumped up to 2015. And then in 2017, a Medscape physician lifestyle survey of more than 14,000 independent physician participants shows that 51% are reporting burnout. That's huge. And that's a drastic jump year after year. And it really doesn't seem to be shrinking. So what seems to be the issue here? Individuals like yourselves, the independent physicians and their staff, you go into this field to help people, sick people. So what is it about the daily grind that results in so many people in your field to be affected in such a negative way? Number one cause is long and demanding hours. Every patient you feel deserves your undivided attention. Every form, document, CCDA requires your review, your signature, maybe some annotation. Every single lab and test result requires your input. So when do you actually catch a break? Number two biggest cause is pressure from patients and colleagues. If you've ever had a patient go over their appointment time or show up late to their appointment time or start to discuss unrelated symptoms that aren't related to their specific appointment time, this can create tension, especially for other patients waiting in your waiting room. And I know that a ton of physicians feel it, and I know your staff probably feels it. Tardiness for your next appointment only builds that tension up. These pressures all attribute to your overall wellness. Number three contributor, employer issues. Many independent practices that I've spoken to specifically recently have been either purchased or taken over by a bigger health system. So this means each practice must now meet specific requirements, not only mandated by the government, but also now required for your new system that you're working for. So that's going to just result in more and more stress. Not to mention MACRA and MIPS reporting, I think just ended or is ending this month. So I'm sure you guys have a ton of administrative things you're doing on the reporting end as well. that goes into the work overload you're experiencing. So this is self-explanatory. You're taking on new patients, you're taking on new personalities, maybe new staff, so new requirements, macro and MIPS, your improvement activities, your quality measures, all of those things are going to result in your work overload, not to mention your regular daily schedule. And then excessive administrative challenges. So manual process, whether you're faxing by the fax machine or you do have an e-fax service that might not be integrated with Greenway, Prime Suite, your EHR, or Greenway Energy, your EHR. This is just going to add to piles of paper, staff time wasted, all contributing to physical and mental clutter, creating more and more stress, and therefore just results in more and more people feeling a little bit burnt out. Some external stressors that we've heard from lately are government regulations, so those macro and MIPS reporting schedules, the bureaucratic burdens of providing healthcare, the back and forth you spend trying to get in touch with other physicians, pharmacies, or even just trying to engage your patient. The EHRs you're working with can sometimes be cumbersome, and so forth. These problems are pretty obvious when you look at them in a webinar circumstance, but the others might not be as apparent. And the change needed might not always be super obvious for you and your staff as well. So what exactly can you do to help yourself from looking like this? How can you alleviate some of these burdens before the stress actually takes a toll on you and your business? First off, doctors telling doctors suggest that you should acknowledge. Just acknowledge that something is happening here. Maybe not that it might be a problem yet, but just acknowledge that you are feeling some type of way that is not 100% positive. You may need some outside help or tips on how to deal with that stress. Secondly, take a break. I know that's easier said than done, especially with your occupation, but that might mean take an hour away, step away for a real lunch, take a weekend away if you can. You're so focused on helping others that many times, and increasingly more so today, independent physicians, residents, and their staff forget about your own well-being because you're so concerned with taking care of everyone else. Third, rest. You need sleep. The same things you're telling all of your patients to do, you probably need to follow a couple of those steps yourself. Sleep, drink water, have a solid lunch break every single day. I know that I'm filling out a ton of paperwork on my lunch break, and sometimes just taking a walk around the building can help alleviate some of that stress. My job is nothing compared to those that work in an independent practice, so I understand the need for stepping away sometimes. Or make a change. Sometimes making changes, it's absolutely needed in a practice. This could be subtle changes like alternative hours during the week or weekends, maybe not working that 8 to 5 every single day. Applying different methods of change all around your practice where you may see some pain points or stress being contributed a little bit more. So what exactly can you do about it? This is where Updox comes in our integration with Greenway Health. So Dr. Christine Sinsky, Vice President of Satisfaction at AMA, was featured in a recent Modern Medicine article saying that she's begun implementation of specific workflow changes that will put nearly 3 to 5 more hours back into your day to focus on patient care. So this is where Updox and Greenway will come in to help. Updox Universal Inbox isn't the only answer to fight burnout, obviously, as I mentioned before, but implementing a strategic source of solutions can ease up some of the stress causing a portion of burnout. So what does Updox do exactly? We support care collaboration for new reporting standards. We enable your practice staff to take control of the daily administrative tasks bogging physicians down. We help you create a pre-visit strategy and post-visit strategy to enhance the patient experience and engagement. And we also save your staff a lot of time on that redundant manual process that so many physicians are burnt out from, I'm sure. So how exactly do we do this? With solutions fully integrated with Greenway Prime Suite and Greenway Energy, solutions like electronic fax and document management, direct secure messaging and email, premium patient payments, and patient surveys. I know a lot of the measures that you're going to be reporting on for macro and MIPS, if you haven't yet this year, next year, fall in line with making sure that your patients are satisfied with your care. So that value-based care instead of volume-based. Our patient surveys can definitely help with that. So who is Updox exactly? Updox was started about 8 years ago by a doctor like yourselves to help other practices, as he was really frustrated by the lack of software solutions available built specifically for healthcare. From the very beginning, our mission has always been to help practices reduce manual process, to make life easier and give you more time to focus more on what really matters, your patients. So we are a communication platform built by physicians for physicians. We have over 56,000 providers currently using Updox, and I think it's 1.4 million in our directory, and more than 300,000 users, and that number is always growing. We have over 100 EMR integrations to date, and that covers 72 million patients, or 18% of the US population. So Updox truly is your single source for patient and provider communication. Updox at its core is a communication platform designed to help independent physicians create the best workflow for their practice. If we have built solutions, we have built solutions to help you on your day-to-day basis. We've helped build solutions to counteract the challenges that you're facing, you and your staff. As a preface, before we dive into all the Updox solutions that can help you on a day-to-day basis and alleviate burnout, the Updox solutions can be used as a standalone option, or we are integrated with Prime Suite and Energy. So any one of you who has Success EHS right now, any of the things I show you today can also be used in a standalone capability. It does not necessarily have to be integrated with your EMR for you to be able to review or use the Updox benefits. So let's jump right in here. One big way Updox differentiates ourselves across all of our solutions is that we haven't stayed surface level. We're not trying to give you a quick fix, put a band-aid on anything. We've carefully selected the areas of pain to target in the independent practice workflow. We've evaluated your current options for solutions, and we've built tools that deliver more value than our competitors with a tight integration to your EMR. So the Updox Universal Inbox is where we centralize all of your messages. You can find faxes, your direct secure emails, secure messages with staff, and other things, in-office messages, messages from your patients if they're replying to something you've sent them. We're also offering a new SMS quick send. So you're able to, in this top compose message, there will be a new feature there that's offered for free right now to Greenway users, where you're able to on-the-fly message patients. And if you have any questions about that later, feel free to go into your GoToWebinar panel and type those questions in there, and I'll make sure somebody gets those answered for you. But the inbox is accessible anywhere with an internet connection, so it's completely web-based, no hardware required. So we're going to step through just a couple of these solutions that roll up into the Updox inbox. The first solution we ever built for physicians was actually the electronic fax and document management. As I said before, our founder, Dr. Andy Barbash, was really frustrated with having to do that paper workflow, that manual workflow, going back and forth to the fax machine, having your staff running back and forth, chasing you down for a required signature. All of these things can be very tedious and very time consuming and also really, really costly. So what we've provided to Greenway users specifically is something that can counteract that manual process. So we've carefully researched the workflows and built a tool that doesn't just put a band-aid on that paper problem, we try to solve it completely. So you can simplify your workflow, you connect with your patients and staff members, and then also referring physicians. But some of the specific things that our document management actually does is you're able to go into the inbox, easily review, split, or combine pages, so you don't actually have to send an entire fax with cover page included to the chart. You can pick and choose which pages you'd like to actually send over. So you can hover over those pages and review them that way. You can annotate, sign, and date in our robust editor. So we actually have the provider's signature that you can download into your Updox inbox and then edit documents from there, so you're not having to print, sign, scan, re-put into Updox, put into the chart, all very tedious. We have PDF or TIFF options and a drag and drop feature. So I'll show you that in just a second. You're able to easily drag and drop documents directly into the Updox inbox for editing. We have simultaneous actions. So you're able to fax out or send to the chart at the same time without any conflict with incoming messages. And again, we are web-based, no hardware required, no IT support required. All of that is set up for you anywhere with an internet connection. So just to go over here, this is our drag and drop feature. As you can see, my desktop is pretty messy, and I'm sure if you are somebody that does a lot of the administrative work in the practice, you can relate to that. But this here, if you have PHI on your desktop, obviously that's not compliant. So the Updox inbox is a secure and compliant way to edit and send out these documents accordingly. Just a really cool feature, a part of the document management tool. Again, this is just going into high level what you can do with our editor. So before you get to faxing or filing to a patient's chart, sometimes annotation is required. And for that, we have this complete editor with one-click signature, as I mentioned. You can time and date stamp. We also include check marks for check boxes in the event that you wanted to use Updox to fill out forms electronically. Some practices will actually keep blank forms on the desktop as a workflow and just drag them into Updox, fill out accordingly, and send out, or task your provider for a signature and then send out. Just depending on your workflow, Updox really is customizable to how you want to work with it. Another great feature of Updox for Greenway is the tasking ability within your EMR. So for Prime Suite, this is what it will look like. You can attach results to an existing order. You can choose between admin or clinical categories, as both are mapped over into Updox. You can sign off on a document, or you can also alert the provider to certain documents on the dark side. And for Greenway Intergy, all providers and categories are also mapped over into Updox. And a tasking is available to alert a provider to review or sign documents in the EMR. So just some quick helpful videos to show you exactly how you could use that and how it's mapped over into Prime Suite and Intergy. So not only can you use the document management and electronic fax as a way to simplify your manual process, but you can also use it as a neat way to connect with other providers. So you simply add your providers and specialists that you work with on a regular basis, those referral sources that you need to nurture those relationships for, add them into your address book in Updox, or if you have the address book in Greenway, just simply add those in. It'll all talk over to Updox. And then you can message, direct secure email, or electronic fax them and message them accordingly. So you can boost your revenue and nurture these relationships. You can stay in front of existing referral sources with regular thank you emails or faxes. And then you can also message potential new referral sources, letting them know about a new location or services you might be offering at the practice. All right, so you've seen a little bit of the ins and outs of exactly how our faxing works, but the bottom line here is that it also reduces a ton of time that you're spending at the fax machine or going back and forth between solutions that don't necessarily speak fluidly to your EMR. So it saves you a lot of time and also money. So we've done the math here. For every 5,000 pages a practice is using, the spend is about $155 in supplies, just for 5,000 pages. So that varies from $72 in toner from the average Brother fax machine, $50 for a case of paper, $20 to $40 for a fax line depending on who you're using, and then the hours spent. If it takes just 2 minutes per fax, that includes walking to and from the fax machine, manually faxing those documents out, printing and filing transmission reports, scanning back into Updox or back onto your computer to send over to the chart, locating or duplicating your work, or trying to find the fax later to resend. So not only do we help you build an easier workflow for your day-to-day and help cut down on that stress that leads to burnout. We also save you a ton of time and a ton of money. And again, I don't think I mentioned this, but we also have very, very robust audit trails. So you're able to tag things and track them down accordingly. As long as you have a naming convention that works for your practice, you can always track things down, see when it was sent, who it was sent by, who was tagged in it, and what patient it actually discussed. So how exactly do you get started with Updox? I had a few emails about people that were going to miss the webinar and didn't know if they should register or not. So yes, definitely all of our webinars, feel free to register for those because we do send out the recording afterward. You don't want to miss out just because you couldn't make it to the live event. So how exactly do you get started? We do offer a 15-day free trial. That's 15 days to get registered, trained, get moving, so you and your staff can really see if it's going to be a benefit for your workflow or not, kind of get the gist of exactly how it's going to work for you and create a workflow that's going to work best for you. And you have 15 days to do that. Again, it's web-based, so there's no hardware. We are a subscription service, so we don't have any contracts, so you're not having to sign your life away necessarily to get facts. We also offer free training and free support. We do offer a live support chat now that is available on our support page. So if you ever have questions about something not working right, something not sending out right, or just general questions about how to use Updox, you can definitely locate our support team there. If you'd like, you can contact us at the number below and also the email below. We answer all of those. I will also be having our sales development representatives reach out just to give you guys a little bit more information, make sure all of your questions got answered. And then for today's event, we are offering a limited time offer. The promo code LUCK will get you 10% off for 12 full months. So a full year, you can get a discount on Updox if you get signed up before the end.